Welcome back to Brick and Brand. We're your host, Delaney and Bradley. We're so excited to be with you guys. It is Thanksgiving week. How are you doing, sister?
Well, I'm doing good. I am so glad it is the week before Thanksgiving, and I'll be home in, what is it, 3 days, 4
3
days
days.
now?
I'm literally counting the hours. I'm so excited to have you here.
I feel like every year when by the time the holidays get here, I'm just running on empty, and I feel like if there wasn't a holiday, like, if we lived in a different country that didn't have Thanksgiving, I, wouldn't be able to go on for another day.
Well, for our business, Thanksgiving and Christmas is our only time off, right? We work
That's true.
pretty much 24/7, or we're expected to work 24/7, including weekends. All the holidays scattered throughout the year. I mean, I don't even know if we took 4th of July off. It's just kind of 24/7.
Yeah.
And so the only time that we get a legitimate break is Thanksgiving and Christmas. So this is
Yeah.
very much needed. So excited. I feel like I'm
And
kind
this
of
has
hanging on by
always
a
been,
thread.
I know, counting down, and this has always been, one of my favorite holidays, I feel like, since I was a little girl. It was always Thanksgiving or Christmas, but something about Thanksgiving, like, the leaves are changing color and you're eating all this great food. It's just such a special time of year, and I am gonna be spending it in San Diego with everybody, so that's gonna be awesome.
So excited. Is Thanksgiving actually your favorite holiday, would you say?
I think it is. It used to be 4th of July. I used to,
Okay.
toggle. I love all the holidays, but it's because it's always so hot where I've lived, I kind of got tired of 4th of July, and fall is my favorite season. So for all those reasons, I kind of feel like Thanksgiving is the best time of the year.
Totally. Someone brought it up to me yesterday and they were asking me what my favorite holiday was. And they said the reason that Thanksgiving is their favorite is you get to relax, lay on the couch, eat a shit ton of good food, and there's no obligation for gifts or gift giving like there is at
Hmm,
Christmas.
that's a good
And I
point.
was like, that's a really good point. That makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense. I can see why that would be the best
there's
holiday.
not as
I
much,
love
stress.
Christmas, but
Yeah.
exactly. It's a different environment at Christmas because there's the gift exchange and stuff, which is so fun. But
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's like, okay, my wallet's not broken and I still get to be around my family and hang out and eat a bunch of food.
Yeah. And I remember growing up, I think a lot of, your favorite holidays come from memories that you have as, a child, because holidays change so much as you get older. But you may have been too young, but I remember growing up, Thanksgiving is when all of our cousins would come together and we would play,
Yeah.
flag football at the park, and we were outside all day just playing with our cousins, and then we would go, eat a big meal at the grandparents' house, and it was just, the specialist memories, and we don't get to do that anymore, but we still get to be together, all 6 of us typically and our parents, so
It's so
it's just really
fun.
special.
We're so
Yeah.
excited. So we've had a little tea this week going on in our family because Bradley's coming to San Diego for Thanksgiving. We're going to have our brother Sullivan, who lives here, our sister Liberty, who lives in San Diego as well, and then our dad, who also lives here. And then thankfully, Bradley's coming out. The rest of our family is going camping, which is also so fun. Kind of not my vibe for this holiday. I really just want to rot on the couch, but to each their own. Love that they're camping. And so we've had a little tea this week about what food we're doing for Thanksgiving.
My gosh,
A
yes, we
couple
have.
people in the group wanted to cook, which is so fun to just have everyone in the kitchen cooking, making your favorite dishes, barbecuing, whatever. And then we had a couple of other people that were like, I absolutely do not want the work of cooking and I want to cater
Mhm.
and I want to have the traditional seasonal food and
Yeah.
I want it to be delivered to the front door. I don't want to be worrying about dishes. I don't want to be worrying about prep, grocery shopping, none of that. And so there's
Yeah, and
been a little
people
back
kinda
and forth.
got I don't really care either way, although I don't really get, the allure of cooking. I feel like I've never really liked cooking, and being in a hot
Yeah,
kitchen for hours on the day you're supposed to relax, making food, to me doesn't sound appealing, but I don't really have a preference either way.
right.
And I do feel like people got kind of, fired up about this topic And it
Yeah.
kinda came out of nowhere, and it's like, wow, I didn't realize people have so much opinion about what they eat and, like, how it's
Yeah.
produced or prepared, and so
Yeah.
it was a learning lesson that everyone has strong opinions
Yes.
in this, and I'm sure that there's always a little bit of family drama at the holidays. You
Of
can't
course. I
avoid
mean, of
it.
course. Yeah.
It's just kind of like, how bad is it gonna be this year?
Exactly. I know the group chat was a little bit heated this week. So we had to do some mediating and getting people's opinions and then going back and reporting back to the other people. But I think we've got it
Yeah,
figured out, thankfully. We're
I
doing
think.
catering. Yeah, who knows, actually, because it'll
Yeah.
probably,
But
some
where
other
are we
drama will come up.
even catering from?
We're catering from STK Steakhouse, which will
Okay.
be really yummy. It's like a nice, pretty high-end steakhouse here, but their dishes are, like, very elaborate, like shallots with, like, things that are maybe a little bit outside of my, like, taste profile. And because I kind of eat like a child, and I love Thanksgiving food in the sense that I love, like, mac and cheese and mashed potatoes, and not a big turkey person. I am willing to be converted on that, but I feel like my experiences with turkey were always, like, dry and kinda tasteless,
Yeah.
and so I think some of us were more like, "Let's just, like, make the food that we want," you know? Like, let's
Mhm.
just whip up some of our favorite dishes. It's not like there's gonna be a ton of people there, and then we had some family members that were like, "No, we want our seasonal traditional food. We never
Yeah.
get it," which is super valid.
Which is totally fair, to each their
Yes.
own. I know,
Right.
I'm more like you, like, I would honestly eat Mexican food.
Me
Like,
too.
California Mexican food to me is so much better. I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna get really, like,
Roasted for
slammed
this.
online,
Yeah.
roasted because I live in Texas and I love it here, but I love California Mexican food, so I would have eaten, like, just chips and guac and fresh Mexican food. Who cares about, like, the traditional for me, like, traditional food, but we'll probably do some kind of a mix is my guess of traditional and just everyday food.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's such a fun holiday because everybody around the country is cooking and out shopping the day before, and the grocery stores are always packed, so you have to plan your grocery store visits so strategically,
Way in
but
advance.
that's
Yeah.
part of the fun, and that's kind of leads us to what we wanted to talk about today, which is something I think nobody really thinks about that we kind of take for granted in some way, but we kinda wanna pull back the curtain on actually what is happening behind the scenes, which is grocery stores and supermarkets and, warehouse concepts like Costco and BJ's, all the different types of grocery stores that are out there and how they're actually, like, pulling some major, major strings. But as
Mhm.
the consumer, we don't even think about it. We just think of that's the place that we go to get a carton of milk or some cereal.
Right. It's such a daily needs convenience that we've never had to go without. There's always multiple within couple mile radius of where we are. And so it's not really something we think about, but they truly are such big players in the game of real estate. Brettley always refers to it as chess, like a chessboard and moving pieces, which is so accurate because grocers really do have a lot of pull in real estate. And when they find a site where they want to go, everybody else floods
Ah,
and wants to be a part of this, even if it's just dirt at the time.
yes, it's so true. I always say grocers are king, and it's before I was in real
Mhm.
estate, I was like everybody else, a grocery store is just a grocery store, like, it was kinda boring, and I
Yeah.
got in and got out as quick as I could. Now that I'm in real estate, grocers are life, and they wherever they go, the value of the real estate around them goes through the roof.
Mhm.
And there's so much demand to be near them because there's so much daily foot traffic all day, every day. So if you're around a grocer as another retailer, you do 1,000% better. If
Yeah.
you're a landlord and you own land or you own buildings, the value goes up. So grocers really are probably the most powerful retailer that exists. I mean, hospitals and other groups are also powerful, but I think
Mhm.
just generally speaking, grocers, like, hold all the power,
Mhm.
and you do whatever you can to have them in your project.
Mhm.
but it's hard to do
Totally.
grocery store deals. There's not always enough space, and I know San Diego, who are your most prominent grocers, and are they expanding? Is there even room to expand?
I know, I was just thinking about the grocery stores around me and which ones are close and which ones I would choose preferably to go to, and we have a Gelson's right up the road.
What is a Gilson's?
I would say it's kinda medium tier to lower tier grocery store. Definitely not as high end as Whole Foods or Jimbo's or even really Trader Joe's, although Trader Joe's a little bit unique because 'cause they're kinda tiny.
Yeah, like a
But
specialty grocer would
right,
be more like Trader Joe's. So would you say is it a Gillian's or how do you say it?
Gelson's.
Gilson's.
Gelson's. GE.
Gelson's. I'm horrible at pronunciation.
We'll get there.
Nobody listened to
You don't
me.
have them in Dallas, so it doesn't
No,
matter,
we
it's
don't.
not
Yeah.
relevant.
I do know what Trader Joe's is, though. I know something, not very much,
Yes,
but a few
yes.
things.
But I'm a sucker for Whole Foods, Jimbo's, all the really, like, a little bit higher end organic grocers that are a little bit more expensive, but I just feel like the ingredients are so fresh. Everything's organic, clean, sourced
Yeah,
well, and so although I pay a little bit more for my groceries, I feel better about going to those stores, and I think they have a lot more
100%.
variety as far as brands and options. But
Yeah,
I know from being in Dallas a handful of times that you guys definitely have some grocery stores that we don't have. I remember when I was there recently, I saw I think it was is it HEB or is it
HEB. HEB, yeah.
saw them, like, all over. Are they going crazy right now, or was
Yeah.
I just in an area that had a lot of them? Because I felt like I was seeing them
No,
everywhere.
well, they HEB is found in San Antonio, so they're like
Okay,
everyone in Texas knows them, is very loyal to them, they have a cult-like following. They're
okay,
definitely, like, the number 1 grocer for Texans,
okay,
and every other grocer is terrified of them. They have to compete with them, but they're terrified of them, and it's truly like grocers will pick their real estate based on, like, is HEB coming here or not? Because we can't be near them because that's how powerful they
okay.
are. They
Wow,
have about just under 500 locations, but they just started
wow.
coming to DFW out of San Antonio and the Valley and even Mexico in 2021. So they're still, like, pretty new to DFW,
Okay.
but when they announced that they were coming here, my gosh, the grocers started, like, shaking in their boots because it's like, "Whoa, this
Really?
was my territory, and now you have the monster, like the gladiator coming in." I mean, it's very scary. The sales of other grocers started going down. So HEB
Wow.
yeah, so basically
Why are they so, like, popular? Are they
well,
just massive?
partially because 'cause
Like
they're founded in Texas, so
right,
but they also have very high quality food. Think about blending like Kroger or Ralph's in California
okay,
to Whole Foods. So it's really high quality, but really low prices. And they have fresh produce, they have items in bulk, and they have a ton of Texas flavors that kind of make it
okay,
feel more personable to Texas.
okay.
So when they open a store, they have lines wrapped around the building. People are camping out. It's
Whoa.
like going to the county fair or something like that.
Wow.
And, so I think they have, like, 5 or 6 open now, but they have several opening every year.
Okay, so they're
I'm sure you
expanding
saw
rapidly.
very aggressively. And they
Yeah,
came in and they bought a bunch of land all over, but they're not
okay.
gonna develop it all. Some of that land was just strategically to block other grocers from coming in
Wait,
because
that's so interesting. I feel like we need to
yeah,
pause on that for a moment. So they're purchasing dirt land, maybe or maybe not gonna actually develop it someday, but it's intentionally to block these other grocers and say, "This is my territory.
100%.
We may build an HEB here at some point, so stay the hell out," kinda thing.
Yes, and so it doesn't mean that another grocer won't come nearby. There's an
Right.
intersection up north that has Target, Sprouts, Kroger, Walmart, and HEB owns land. So it's literally everybody
Whoa.
duking it out. But
Whoa.
typically, if a grocer knows that HEB owns land and it's all public, so you can just look it up and you know
Right.
then there's some concern, right, to go near them. They're not as much of a competitor to say, a Sprouts or Trader Joe's, but a
Okay.
Tom Thumb, a Kroger, or like a Ralph's in your case
Okay.
would be a little bit more scared to be near them.
Okay.
So, there
Based
definitely
on
can.
the traffic that you're saying it generates, it's sounding comparable to, like, a Costco. Am I way off base there, or would you say are they that big? Or
No, I think in terms of just traffic and the amount of people that go there, yes, they are similar to Costco. I think Costco's a little bit bigger store size, but they're
Right.
similar. It's just different models since Costco is the membership-based
Right.
model and it's more buying in bulk. Like HEB is more of a supermarket. It's not a true like bulk like Sam's Club or Costco. So those guys can go like near each other and it's okay,
Okay.
but they're definitely, like, on par with each other in terms of traffic.
Generating
And
traffic, yeah.
I think one of the craziest things is just how fast the grocers are expanding out here. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but every single grocer, Target, Walmart, Sprouts, HEB, Kroger, Tom Thumb, they're all actively doing stores. Opening and
Wow.
having multiple planned. Like, in a lot of cities, just getting 1 new Costco or 1 new grocery store is a big deal. We probably have 25.
Absolutely. Wow, that's insane. Now do you feel like it's like a competitive thing where they're hearing that these other concepts are expanding, so they're like, "Let me beat you to the punch and get there first," type of thing? Or, "I'm gonna, prove
It's
you wrong and
yes.
go right next door and do better than you?"
It's totally a chess match because you have
Okay.
to figure somebody like Kroger. Are you familiar with Kroger?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so they're kinda like the OG, right? They've been here forever, they have some really old stores that they're getting rid of, but in order for them to keep any market share with everything HEB's doing, they have to expand. If they just say, "We're not expanding," HEB will destroy them. So it kind of spurs everybody to it. So it's a really fun time to be in. I like to call it grocer wars because that's really what it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, it literally is. So are most of these projects new development? Like, people
Yes.
buying dirt and building it from the ground up? Okay. They're not
Yeah, most of the
necessarily
grocers
taking
are
over old
there's
vacancies.
some infill, like Trader Joe's is big on infill, but most of these grocers are actually like way ahead of their time in the sense that they're looking at markets that we aren't even wouldn't even we would think that they're not as densely populated enough, and they already have bought land. So way far north, way in every direction where these small cities are growing, they've already staked their claim, and as the population grows, then they build their store. So it's
Wow.
they're very ahead of their time with a lot of research
Right.
and then like we said before, just all the land around them gets it's like a feeding frenzy for everything that's around the grocery
Oh,
store.
yeah. Well, and I feel like grocers can kind of underpay because they know if they're purchasing land, they're just naturally making
Yes.
the owner or the landlord way more money, right? And so,
100%.
yeah. Yeah.
The landlords don't usually make a lot of money on the actual grocery deal, but all the pads in front that they're ground leasing or selling.
All of a sudden, they can charge way more for those because 'cause they're anchored by a
Yes,
grocery store. Yeah.
yes. I had a landlord tell me the other day that his plots of land for the listener, they went up by like almost $20 when HEB went across the
Wow.
street. Like, he was like, "This is the best
Wow.
thing that's ever happened to me." And he didn't do anything. Literally, just HEB came across the street, and you'll pay anything
Wow.
to be near them because of
That's
the traffic.
unbelievable. I feel like that speaks volumes to the growth that is happening in Dallas and neighboring cities
Yes,
as far as just infill and people moving there. We've talked about that on previous episodes, but just how much the population is growing and
same.
the rate of growth, it's like they can't even keep up with it. Whereas in San
Right.
Diego, it's very different. It's the decisions are very strategic and there's not a lot of new development happening. So the new grocery stores popping up are very few and far between. There's a couple going on in San Diego right now, but they're, 3 or 4 years out and they are in just very specific areas because there's not a lot of new development.
So the grocers in San Diego are typically taking over existing buildings?
Yes, I would say yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of those box spaces, like the larger, 20,000 plus square foot spaces that are coming available that we've talked about with, all the pharmacies going out of business. And so there is some of that. I mean, Party City, all these different concepts that are downsizing or going fully online. So there is some of that infill, but it's just there's not a lot. Like the
And those would all
vacancy.
be for small grocers, like
Exactly.
specialty. You could never do like a
Like
large format.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so there is some new development happening. There's a couple of different pockets in San Diego right now where that's happening, but it's just very minimal.
Well, and you guys are bifurcated obviously by the ocean and the
Right.
mountains. And so it's one of the reasons everyone wants to be there. The demand is so high, but there just isn't as much land. Like we have nothing restricting the growth. And I think there's like 800 people a day that move to Dallas.
Holy
Um, I mean,
shit.
that's a real fact. Like I'm not just making that up. So
That's crazy.
that's the only reason that there's this much grocer activity, obviously.
Right.
Do you have Costco in San Diego?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes, of
okay, I wasn't
course.
sure. Is there a lot of them or just a couple?
There's a couple.
Yeah,
I wouldn't quantify it as a lot, but there's a good amount. There's a couple that are around me north, there's one east, and then there's obviously a couple more because I live in North County, so there's a couple more in, like, central San Diego.
okay.
So, I mean, I think I could get to one in 15 minutes kind of from wherever I am in San Diego, but I feel like the power that Costco has, no one else can top that. I was in a Costco center yesterday touring with a client, and not only is the parking lot in front of the Costco busy, but then they have their Costco gas component.
Yeah,
And that's just
yeah.
got a line wrapped up the street,
It's
blocking traffic. I mean, the sales and traffic that Costco generates is in
they're
out of this world.
monster. They're
Out of this
monsters.
world. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're incredible retailers. There's an amazing documentary on how Sam's Club and Costco started on Amazon. I think it's called The Brands That Built America. You
Oh, I've heard of
have
that.
to watch it,
I've
it's
heard of that.
incredible. There's 2 men who started these warehouses and kinda duked it out over the years, and now they're, national brands. Have you ever heard of BJ's Warehouse?
I haven't. No.
They're the equivalent of Costco on the East Coast. They're out of Massachusetts.
Okay. Okay.
Membership-based, same kind of large, powerful format, and they just started coming into Dallas a few years ago as well. So
Okay.
they are
They're like a direct competitor though with Costco.
I would say so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously Sam's Club's kinda in that family,
Right.
but
Right.
they're not as aggressive, but it's like, how can one market have so many of these, similar type users, and there's market share basically for everybody? It's really insane.
I was actually talking to someone recently about this that anywhere Costco, and I feel like even though it's kind of small, anywhere that Trader Joe's goes, the parking lot is chaotic. Do you feel that in Dallas? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
no matter where the Trader Joe's is that I go to, it's like the most stressful parking lot.
No, it
Like,
is true.
chaotic. It is so weird to me because it's not even that it's kind of a specialty, right, smaller
Yes,
grocer,
smaller grocer.
but wow,
Think
they cause some
yeah.
serious traffic.
I think Trader Joe's seems to do a lot of, like, infill sites, so they like to be kinda
Mhm.
more urban where things are tighter, like, they're kinda starting to go in the suburbs in Dallas. They are,
Okay.
but, like, they don't go out as far into the suburbs as an H-E-B would. They like to be in markets that are already kinda built out and already have the
Totally.
traffic, and then their sites are a little bit smaller. I think they're trying to fit typically in an urban area, so that could be why.
Totally.
But
That
it
makes a lot
doesn't
of
seem to
sense.
deter people from shopping there,
Mhm.
but it is very stressful, and sometimes there's a Trader Joe's near us that's underneath an apartment building, and you have to go up inside the garage, to park and come down, and it's like a whole process just to get in the Trader Joe's.
Right.
You have to budget, like, an extra 20 minutes.
Just for getting your groceries in and out and yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally get that. I feel like when we were growing up, going to Costco was like a Sunday event for us.
It
After
really was.
church, we would go with the whole family because, of course, they have the samples, which is obviously my favorite part of going to Costco.
It's so fun.
The samples and then the little food court.
I think
That's
they
all
got
I
rid of
need.
the samples because I went there recently and I didn't see any, unless it was just,
Okay.
like, the Costco I was at, or there wasn't as many
Okay.
good ones.
I do think there's not as many. I agree with that.
Yeah. Maybe for
Mine
health reasons or something after COVID.
Yeah, totally. That's actually a
Yeah.
really good point. That makes a lot of sense. Mine still has some. I would say it's definitely not as many as when we were young because I remember them being on every corner of the aisle. It was
And
like
as a little
pick up a
kid, do
new
you
snack.
remember? We would go with
Heaven.
everybody, we'd have, like, a baby, we'd have the stroller, and we would just follow mom around and eat our way through Costco. And I remember just being like a little girl after church with my church dress on, just in my element,
Yes,
stuffing my face. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Costco because of those memories.
totally. It was a 4-hour event. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a half day thing. It took so long, probably because there was 12 kids involved, but
Yeah.
still, even when I go to Costco now, I'll go for a couple of things thinking I'm gonna stock up on toilet paper and paper towels, nothing very exciting, and I'll be there for an hour and a half. I can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so big. There's always things that you see. It's kinda like Target where you go in and you're like, "I'm just gonna get 1 or 2 things," and then
You
you
end up
leave
spending
with a
so
full
much money.
cart. Yeah, yeah.
Are you someone that loves grocery shopping? I feel like I know people, a lot of girls, but also some guys who like grocery shopping is like a thing. It's like an event that they do and they wanna look cute and they, like, post on their Instagram about it. I don't, like, get it really, but
I don't
I don't wanna
either.
say anything in case you are that person.
I'm laughing because I can't even imagine myself doing that. I feel like if I had a lot more time in my day,
Yeah.
then yes, I would love to like, plan out my grocery list and make it aesthetic and spend 2 or 3 hours in there. But no, oh my god, how do people have
Yeah.
time for that? I
I
cannot
do
fathom
think I think that there'd be a lot of things we would do differently, Delaney, if we had
if
more
we had the
time,
time.
but we're just always flying by the seat of our pants. I'm trying to
Really?
figure out how I can hire somebody to do my grocery shopping. I
Yes.
don't get it. I don't find joy in walking the aisles trying to find what I
No.
want.
No, me
But
either.
I will say that I see the grocery stores, like, in a different light after being in real estate, and
Totally.
they're just so powerful, and I know that everything they do is so strategic, so if you see a grocery store next time, not if, when you see a grocery store,
Right.
know that that location was picked with, like, years of consideration and analysis, and there's so much that went into it, so don't
Yep.
take it for granted.
Yes, so, so true. What are some of the other grocers that you have in, Dallas or in Texas that we don't have? Like, top of your head. No, we don't have HEB,
Yeah.
or any others that are just doing really well there.
Well, Sprouts and Trader Joe's, you obviously have Trader Joe's and Sprouts.
Right.
BJ's
Right.
Warehouse is one that's newer. Tom Thumb,
Yeah.
you
We do
guys have
not have
Tom
that. You
Thumb?
mentioned that. I
Yeah, Tom
no.
Thumb is similar to Ralph's. It's kind
Okay.
of a mid-tier, you can kinda get everything there, middle price point. Walmart, obviously you have Walmart, but it's another one that's doing really well. They're also expanding, like crazy.
Yeah.
We have the real small specialty grocers like Foxtrot and Royal Blue and some of these, but those are more like overpriced little markets. I feel like all the grocers are kind of incestuous. Like they're all owned under like 2 or 3 different flags, but they all have
Yes.
these different names in different regions. And so
Yes.
you'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know you don't have that brand," and then you realize it's owned by the same company.
Right,
It's
and we
just a
have a
different
version
name.
of it here. It sounds like Tom
Exactly.
Thumb is similar-ish to Gelson's. Kinda similar
Yes.
vibe, just kinda middle tier. You can get everything. It's priced in the middle, but
Yeah, and Tom
convenient and
Thumb is expanding, but I would say they have struggled a little bit to stay as competitive. Sometimes I see them taking inferior sites because they can't quite go, like, on Main and Main and compete with some of the other brands. But one
totally.
thing I want you to, like, that I feel like we have to touch on is just how a grocery store can change your life as a broker
Yeah,
or as a landlord.
yeah. Wait, tell me about that. Do you have any experiences with that? Did you get
Well,
an email or voicemail that changed your
no,
life?
no, unfortunately, I haven't, but I've had a couple of sites where I've been pursuing grocery stores, and I have a
Okay,
few now.
okay.
And if you have a site that you think a grocery store will come, you call everybody. and I haven't put all the pieces together yet, but if you get a grocery store as a broker, it's like the best thing that can happen. Not only are you doing this massive deal, but all the pads around the property and
Mm,
the neighboring property you can put together before anybody else knows about it.
totally.
So it can really change like your whole year.
Oh my
Or
god.
even
Yeah.
just being close to a grocer can like change. Everyone is looking to like figure out where they're going first, how to be
Right.
part of it. And yeah, so it's just like that's the email that you want is the grocery store
Totally.
wants to be at your site.
You reminded me of something that just happened recently. There's this one of only a few new development project happening in Mission Valley area in San Diego. And it was just announced that a Jimbo's is going to anchor the project. And I kid you not, like within 5 minutes, we thought of five or six of our tenants, food and beverage, service tenants, all different types that will get in line to be next to that Jimbo's,
Mhm.
right? And so
Yeah.
even though we didn't do the Jimbo's deal and we really didn't have any involvement in that, knowing that that's going to be there, all of a sudden we just added 5 or 6 deals to our pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
all want to be there. So to your
And that's a
point,
great
like
point.
makes a huge difference.
That's a great point. You don't actually have to be doing the grocery store deal, but if you can bring your tenant, every single tenant wants to be there. So it's very competitive. You can't just, oh, let me put my tenant there. There's 1,000 other brokers trying to do the same thing. But if you hear about it or if you can hear about it first, it's all about
Right.
hearing about it first. And I try and build really strategic relationships with all the grocers. And I set up
Yes.
meetings with them, get to know them, have a glass of wine because I wanna know what they're doing, I
That's
wanna be
so
the first
smart.
call, so
That's
it's
so
really
smart.
fun. It's
That
like being
yeah.
a detective trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it is kinda sleuthing. That's a good point, but that's really smart
Sleuthing, I
to
love that word.
leverage your relationships out in the marketplace and
Yeah,
know where the big guys are going and when, so you can be first in line to the party because
yeah,
at any point, we have a handful of tenants in our pocket that would wanna be next to that grocery store when it opens.
yeah, and
So
whenever I read an article in the news that says this grocer is opening here or they bought this land, I know already I'm too late. If I'm reading
right,
it in the news, I'm too late. I have to be finding out about it through another
in
source.
advance. Yes.
Yes, because
Yes.
everyone is trying to do the same thing, so
Do you
it's really
see
fun.
bidding wars happening when a grocer gets announced, like you were talking about being too late to the party or hearing about it too late? Say you did hear about it in advance before it was publicly announced. Do you see that shop spaces and food and beverage spaces next door or nearby that grocer, there's bidding wars happening and prices are just going through the roof because everyone wants to be there?
Yeah, so if you were looking at a piece of land to buy, maybe that was across the street from a grocer,
Okay,
but then the grocer was announced later, like let's say you didn't know, that land all would go up in price,
totally.
100%. So the
Totally.
best thing you can do, the perfect situation would be owning land and then a grocery store is announced across and you didn't know about it, or else you're just gonna pay a premium. So that's
Right.
why I said it's every person in real estate's dream, because
Right.
if you're a landowner, you get a lot wealthier, if you're a broker, you get a lot wealthier, and if you're a tenant, you've got great sales, so it's all the good things.
Totally. It's crazy how powerful grocery stores are in our industry. And it really changed my perspective being a broker and being
Yeah.
involved in real estate and seeing these power moves happen and be planned 3, 4, 5 years in advance and knowing that everything around them that is going to completely change.
Yeah. You have to appreciate the strategy and have respect for, like, the years that it takes to put one of those
Yeah.
deals together, and everybody benefits from it, right? Because everyone wants to
So
be
cool.
close to the daily needs.
Well, that's the end of our topic today on grocery wars. Obviously, it sounds like there's a little bit more of a bloodbath going on in Dallas than there is in San Diego with grocers
Yes.
fighting for land and fighting for space. But we love to compare the different markets. And I always feel like I learn stuff from you because, again, we
Yes.
don't have a lot of new development in San Diego. So I love to hear and learn about how these projects are happening in Dallas and how they're starting from the ground up. That's
Right.
such a cool thing to be a part of.
100%. I feel so lucky to be in a market like this, and it is so fun to talk about and compare the different markets, and there's so many pros and cons to both.
Right.
But hopefully everyone, all the listeners will look at their local grocery stores a little bit differently from now on.
When they're fighting for a parking space,
Yes,
understand
yes.
why.
Right.
Well, we now want to touch on we're very, very excited. We are next week, we're going to be recording a retail roundtable episode. We are so hyped about this. We've been planning it for a little while, and it's a very, very special episode. We're going to be interviewing and getting down to the nitty gritty with our dad and our brother, who are obviously both in retail real estate as well. And so we're going to be interviewing them, but also just getting into the behind the scenes of family business and all the drama and
Yes.
nuance that comes with that. So we're very excited. We wanted to do something
Yes.
really, really special. And as a little gift and a thank you to our listeners, drop a really special, unique, drama filled episode for you guys.
It's gonna be a little more casual, a lot more juicy, and our dad and brother have some great tea on everything they've been through, and also they're gonna spill all the tea on us and what they really think of us. They're not gonna hold back, they're not allowed to. So,
Yep.
it's not an episode you're gonna wanna miss. Lainey and I are gonna have very thick skin for what's coming, but we think it's gonna be really funny and really fun, and you're gonna get to see, like, a little glimpse into our family dynamic,
Yep.
which is, has the good, the bad, and the ugly, like everybody.
Yes. We're bringing the group chat out of the group chat and
Yes.
meeting up in real life, face to face, and we're exposing all the tea. And
They know they're
yeah.
being interviewed, honestly, obviously, but they don't know some of the questions that are gonna be asked. We're throwing a few curveballs at them and making sure that they're on their toes, so very excited to see how they respond to some of these
Yeah.
questions.
We don't know what's going to come out. We're a little nervous too. We
We're a
don't know
little
what's going to
nervous.
be exposed, but it's going
Yeah.
to be amazing. So
Yes, so
get
definitely tune in
ready.
next week.
Yeah, we're so excited. And thank you guys so much for listening. You can find us on Apple Pod, Spotify, or if you'd like to watch, go to YouTube and find Brick and Brands.
We're
Thank
in
you
all the
so much
places.
for listening. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
week, everyone.
Bye, everybody.